Number 1. Pat Garrett. Although history remembers Pat Garrett as the sheriff who shot and killed the famous outlaw, Billy the Kid, Garrett was, according to many historians, one of the greatest sheriffs of the Old West. Quiet and reserved, Garrett wasn't ready for the notoriety heaped on him after the death of Billy the Kid. A tall, lean man with a 6'4" frame, Garrett, an Alabama native, moved to New Mexico and in 1880 was elected sheriff. He also held the titles of deputy sheriff and United States Marshal during his career. It was in Fort Sumner that he first encountered his nemesis, Billy the Kid. Garrett was relentless in his pursuit of Billy the Kid, but he was a man of honor. After a long standoff with Billy and his men, the outlaws agreed to surrender if Garrett would promise to keep them safe from the people of New Mexico, who were eager to lynch the outlaws. As Garrett was transporting Billy and his gang back via train, they were set upon by an angry mob determined to get vengeance on the criminals. Garrett and his small band of men held off the mob, keeping his word to protect Billy the Kid. He even told Billy he would return the guns to Billy and his men if the vigilantes made their way into the rail car. Soon after, Billy the Kid made a daring and successful jailbreak in which he killed 2 deputies. Garrett and a small posse of men tracked him down and, in an event that continues to be debated today, gunned down Billy the Kid, who was hiding out in the bedroom of his sweetheart's house. Taking down the infamous Billy the Kid earned Pat Garrett a notable place in Old West lore forever. Number 2. The Three Guardsmen. The Three Guardsmen was the collective name of 3 legendary Old West lawmen who were tasked with bringing law and order to Oklahoma. They were Bill Tilghman, Heck Thomas, and Chris Madsen. All 3 were United States Marshals working under Marshal Yvette Dumas Nix. Oklahoma was riddled with outlaws and corrupt lawmen. The Three Guardsmen were selected to clean up the state based on their abilities, experience, determination, and honesty. Starting in 1889, Tilghman, Thomas, and Madsen arrested more than 300 outlaws and killed a dozen more. They earned a reputation for being able to track escaping outlaws, even through inhospitable terrain and harsh weather conditions. The Three Guardsmen gained fame for pursuing the Wild Bunch and the remaining members of the Dalton gang that joined them. One by one, the Three Guardsmen arrested or killed the members of the Wild Bunch as they tracked them down, putting an end to their reign of terror. Number 3. John Coffey. Captain Jack Hayes. A former land surveyor, soldier, and Texas Ranger, John Coffey Hayes, nicknamed Captain Jack, earned a reputation as a tough and rugged lawman. In fact, he rose through the ranks of the Texas Rangers because he was so successful at weakening the power of the Comanche people in the area. In 1842, he led forces against an invading Mexican force and commanded a regiment during the Mexican-American War. Following his success in Texas, Hayes traveled to Arizona and New Mexico to serve as the government-appointed United States Indian agent. In 1849, he joined the thousands of people migrating to California in search of gold. Just 1 year later, Hayes was elected as San Francisco's first sheriff. San Francisco was a small, sparsely populated outpost prior to the gold rush. The town was not prepared for the sudden influx of newcomers. Captain Jack Hayes used his unique brand of Texas crime fighting to bring order to the region. Later, he dabbled in politics, resumed his land surveying career, and earned a fortune in real estate, all while wrangling outlaws and enforcing the law. Number 4. Doc Holliday. A dentist by trade, John Henry Holliday was known as Doc Holliday for most of his adult life. He befriended Wyatt Earp, the famous gambler and lawman, in Texas. According to some stories, Holliday saved Earp's life, which started their friendship. Holliday joined Wyatt Earp when he moved further west to Arizona, eventually settling in the town of Tombstone. In 1879, Tombstone had an outlaw problem. Members of the Cochise County Cowboys, a local gang, caused endless trouble in the area. Holliday's friend Wyatt Earp had joined forces with his brother, Virgil Earp, the city marshal of Tombstone, to rid the town of the outlaws, but they needed more help. Virgil Earp deputized Doc Holliday on October 26, 1881. Later that same day, the new lawman took part in the Old West's most famous gunfight, the shootout at the OK Corral. In just half a minute, Holliday and the Earp brothers killed 2 members of the outlaw gang. Holliday was wounded in the fight, but recovered from his injuries. Holliday followed the Earps on a vendetta ride to track down and kill the remaining members of the gang. Out of their jurisdiction and taking the law into their own hands, the lawmen found themselves on the wrong side of the law. Holliday was accused of murder and arrested. At his trial, Doc Holliday claimed self-defense and was acquitted. Although his career as an Old West lawman was not a lengthy one, he is still remembered for bringing justice to Tombstone, Arizona.